You glance at your rabbit's water bottle and you genuinely cannot tell if the level has dropped. And now you are wondering, is my bunny even drinking? In our heat, that is a fair worry because a rabbit that is not getting enough water can run into trouble. And the little bottle that came with the cage does not make it easy to tell. So let me sort out the bowl versus bottle question, how much they should drink, and how to keep them properly hydrated in the Singapore climate. I'm a fellow rabbit owner here in Singapore, not a vet. This is how I manage water for my own rabbits and what gets shared in the local rabbit groups. It is not medical advice. It is one owner helping you set up water the right way and spot when low drinking has tipped into something you need a vet for. Let us start with the big question everyone asks, bowl or bottle? For years the default was the little sipper bottle clipped to the cage because it is tidy and it does not spill. But most rabbit-savvy owners now lean toward a bowl, and there is good reason for it. A rabbit drinking from a bowl drinks the way nature intended, with its head down, taking proper gulps, and it can take in a lot more water in one go. Those sipper bottles only release a tiny dribble per lick, so a rabbit has to work hard for a small amount, and many simply drink less than they should from a bottle. Studies and plain experience both point the same way. Rabbits tend to drink more from a bowl, and more water is exactly what we want, especially in our heat. So my honest take is, offer a bowl. Use a heavy ceramic bowl, the kind that does not tip over when an enthusiastic bunny shoves it around, and keep it filled with fresh water. It is easier for them to drink from, easier for you to see the level dropping, and it encourages more drinking. Now, there is no harm in offering both, a bowl and a bottle, especially while you transition, and let your rabbit show you what it prefers. Some rabbits raised on a bottle stick with the bottle out of habit, and that is fine. But if your rabbit will take a bowl, the bowl is usually the better tool. A quick fairness to bottles, because they are not useless. A bottle keeps the water clean from hay, droppings, and bits of bedding, and it cannot be tipped and spilled. In our humidity, the downside is that the metal spout can get gunky and the narrow tube is a pain to clean and easily grows a bit of slime. So if you do use a bottle, you have to check daily that it is actually flowing, because a blocked spout means a rabbit with no water and no obvious sign anything is wrong. The bowl wins on intake, the bottle wins on cleanliness, and a lot of people simply offer both and keep them both clean. Now, how much should a rabbit actually drink? It varies a lot with the weather, what they eat, and the rabbit. But a rough idea is that a rabbit drinks a fair bit relative to its size, more than people expect. And a rabbit eating lots of fresh wet greens will drink less from the bowl because they get water from their food, while a rabbit on mostly dry hay and pellets will drink more. Rather than chasing an exact number, the useful skill is knowing your own rabbit's normal. Watch roughly how much the bowl goes down on a normal day, so that if drinking suddenly drops off or suddenly shoots up, you notice both a big drop and a big spike in drinking are worth paying attention to. Let us talk about our climate, because this is where Singapore owners really need to think. Our heat and humidity are relentless, and a hot rabbit needs more water, full stop. So in our weather, keeping that water cool, fresh, and always available is not a nice to have. It is core care. A few things help. Change the water at least once a day, twice on very hot days, because warm stale water in a humid flat is unappealing and grows bacteria. Keep the bowl out of direct sun, and on really hot days, some owners pop in a small ice cube or two to keep the water cool and tempting, which can encourage a reluctant drinker. If your rabbit lives in an air-conditioned room, lovely, but still keep the water top and fresh, because dry AC air can quietly dehydrate them too. A real Singapore problem worth naming is algae and slime. Our warmth and humidity mean a water bowl or a bottle tube can grow a green or slimy film fast, much faster than in a cooler country. That film is not just unpleasant, it puts a rabbit off drinking and it is not clean. So scrub the bowl or bottle properly every day with hot water and give it a deeper clean regularly, getting right into the corners, and for bottles, using a little brush down the spout and tube. Clean water in a clean vessel is half the battle for good hydration. On the water itself, normal tap water here is fine for rabbits, the same water you would drink. You do not need special bottled water or anything fancy, just fresh, clean, room temperature or cool tap water, changed often. Simple. And please do not add anything to the water, no vitamin drops, no flavorings, none of those tonics sold in pet shops. They can make the water taste off, which puts a rabbit off drinking, and they can grow bacteria faster. Plain clean water is exactly what a rabbit wants, nothing dissolved in it. Let me say a bit more about why a bowl can be such a clear win, because it changed things in my own home. When I switched my rabbits from a bottle to a heavy ceramic bowl, the amount they drank visibly went up, and the rabbit that drinks more is generally a healthier rabbit with a better flushed bladder and a gut that has the moisture it needs to keep things moving. That last point matters a lot in rabbits because their whole digestive system depends on staying well hydrated to keep food passing through smoothly. So more water is not just about the heat. It quietly supports their gut and their bladder too. A good bowl is one of the cheapest upgrades you can make. Have a seat, a couple of placement and setup tips that save headaches. Put the bowl somewhere it will not constantly get filled with hay, droppings or kick padding, because a fouled bowl gets ignored. Raising it slightly or choosing a spot away from the litter corner helps. If you free roam your rabbit across a flat, do not rely on a single bowl in one room. Set out water in more than one spot so there is always some within easy hopping distance, especially overnight when you are asleep and cannot top it up. And check the bowl lasting at night, because our hot nights mean a rabbit may well want a drink in the small hours. A note for anyone going away. If you board your rabbit or have someone pet sit while you travel, make very clear how the water works, how often to change it, and what your rabbit's normal drinking looks like. A lot of hydration problems happen exactly when the usual routine breaks. The sitter assumes the bottle is fine, it quietly blocks, and nobody notices for a day. A quick handover note prevents that. Here are a few tricks for the rabbit that just will not drink much. First, switch to a bowl if you have not, since that alone often increases intake. Second, add more fresh leafy greens to the diet, washed and left a little wet, because the moisture clinging to the leaves is extra water going in, and rabbits get a real share of their hydration from wet greens. Third, make sure the water is fresh and cool, because rabbits turn up their nose at warm, stale water. And fourth, place water where they actually spend time, and consider a second bowl in a free roam setup, so there is always one nearby. Small changes, more water in. Now the honest health line, because hydration is one of those things where low can quietly become an emergency. If your rabbit suddenly stops drinking, or you notice it is barely producing urine, or the urine looks very dark and scant, those can be signs of dehydration or of something else going on, and they matter. Other warning signs are a rabbit that is lethargic, not eating, sitting hunched, or whose skin, when you gently lift it at the scruff, is slow to spring back. Here is the key thing. A rabbit that has stopped eating has very often also stopped drinking, and not eating in a rabbit is always urgent. So any of this, a rabbit not drinking, not eating, very little urines, or looking dehydrated and dull, is not a sort it out at home situations. That is a get to a rabbit savvy vet straight away situations, the same day. I am a fellow owner, not a vet, so I will not guess at the cause or tell you to fix it yourself. I am telling you that these signs mean you pick up the phone. Let me bring it together. Offer water in a heavy bowl, because rabbits drink more from a bowl, and use a bottle as well if you like, keeping both spotless. Know your rabbit's normal intake so you notice changes. In our heat, change the water at least daily. Keep it cool and out of the sun, and stay on top of the algae and slime that our humidity loves. Tap water is fine. Wet greens add hydration, and a few simple tweaks get a reluctant drinker going. And if your rabbit stops drinking, stops eating, makes very little urine or looks dehydrated, that is a vet visit fast, not a home fix. One more habit that pays off. Get into the rhythm of really looking at the water bowl each time you walk past, not just glancing. Notice the level, notice if it is clean, notice if there is hay floating in it. It takes 2 seconds and it means you are tracking your rabbit's drinking without even thinking about it. The owners who catch hydration problems early are simply the ones who pay attention to the bowl. Water is one of those quiet basics that is easy to take for granted right up until it matters. Get the bowl and the daily fresh feel sorted, and you have removed a whole category of worry, especially through our long hot months And do not overthink the gadgets. You do not need a fancy fountain or an automatic dispenser. A plain heavy ceramic bowl, fresh clean tap water, changed and scrubbed daily, kept cool and topped up, is all a rabbit needs. The cleverest thing you can do is simply pay attention, and the simplest setup is usually the best one. If this helped, come over to singaporerabbit.com. We send out a free weekly digest made for Singapore rabbit owners, plain and practical, with local care tips for our climate, and we keep a directory of rabbit-savvy vets right there for the day a hydration worry turns into something more. It is all free and all made for owners here at home. And if these are useful, subscribe and stick around, because the next video is all about building a sensible rabbit first aid kit, and why having one never replaces calling the vet. I will see you there.